Estimation with Tutor. Here are the beginner questions, some of the easiest questions that you're likely to find on this topic. First, we need to estimate the value of the calculation below. An estimated or approximate answer to a calculation can be obtained by rounding all of the numbers in the calculation to one significant figure. That means placing my rounding line after the first important digit in each of these numbers, giving me an approximate calculation, which is what this symbol represents. 200 multiplied by 3 divided by 200 multiplied by 1. Simplifying the numerator is 600 and the denominator is 200. 600 divided by 200 is a total of 3. Now, because there is a method and everyone's rounded to one significant figure, we should all end up with the same answer at the end of this calculation. Next, Adam's Smoothie Factory operates for 62 hours per week. It makes 324 litres of smoothie per hour. Each litre of smoothie contains 18 blackberries. Estimate the number of blackberries used each week. Again, because of the use of the word estimate with this calculation, we will always need to round to one significant figure for each of the numbers involved. So placing my rounding line after the first significant figure in each of the numbers, this would be approximately equal to 60 hours per week. And since we're making 324 litres of smoothie per hour, we can multiply this by 300, which is 18,000 litres. If each of those litres contains 18 blackberries, that would be the same as multiplying by approximately 20, which is approximately 360,000 blackberries. On to the intermediate questions with a slight increase in difficulty. Again, we are estimating the value of this calculation, so we'll need to round all of the numbers involved to one significant figure. That would give me approximately 50 multiplied by 8 over 0.5. This is equal to root 400 over 0.5, which is the same as 20 over 0.5. Now we can either multiply by 10 at the top and bottom to remove the one decimal place that we have and work out the answer to 200 divided by 5, which gives us 40. This method would be useful for any number with one decimal place written as the denominator. Likewise, if you had two decimal places, you could multiply by 100 at the top and bottom to remove those decimal places. But with this specific calculation, you may have recognized that dividing by a half is the same as timesing by 2. So 20 times 2 is 40. For the next question, we need to estimate the value of x. So rounding all numbers involved to one significant figure, this will give me an approximate value for x of 600 over the square root of 100 plus 10. This is equal to 600 over 10 plus 10, which is 20, and 600 divided by 20 is the same as 60 divided by 2, which is 30. Lastly, we need to explain why your answer to part A is an underestimate of the actual value of x. An underestimate means our approximated value is less than the actual value, and we can usually tell this by looking at whether we've rounded the numbers up or down. For the numerator, you can see that this number was rounded down, and for the denominator, you can see that we rounded both of these numbers up. If you was to share a smaller packet of sweets, but with more people, that would give you less sweets than you would have had originally, therefore an underestimate. And we can explain that by saying a smaller number divided by a bigger number will give us a smaller answer. On to the advanced question, one of the trickiest questions that you're likely to find on this topic. When first looking at this, it may not appear to look like a standard estimation question, but you can see that when referencing working out the calculation, it does use the word estimate. So when we see that, the numbers involved in the calculation always need to be rounded to one significant figure. 98 is approximately 100. 5.13 is approximately 5. And this question does involve the use of pi. And pi, even though represented by a symbol, is still a number. And that number will also need to be rounded to one significant figure, which is approximately 3. Substituting these numbers into the formula for finding the volume of a cone is 1/3 multiplied by pi, which is approximately 3, multiplied by r squared, which would be 5 squared, multiplied by the height, which is the unknown and what we're trying to calculate. And this is approximately equal to 100. We can simplify some of the left-hand side. I know that 1/3 of 3 is just 1, so this will cancel, leaving me with 5 squared times h, which is 25 multiplied by h, is equal to 100, and dividing both sides by 25 will give me h, my height, which is approximately 4 centimeters. So for part B, John uses his calculator to work out the actual height of the cone to 2 decimal places. Will our estimate be more than John's answer or less than John's answer? And we need to give reasons for your answer. Ultimately, our approximation of 4 was worked out by doing 100 divided by 25. Now focusing on the numerator of 100, you can see that this number was rounded up, making it larger, and the denominator of 25 was made up of a calculation involving 3 and 5. And if we look at the original rounding, 5 and 3 were both achieved by rounding down from the original numbers. If you were to go in a shop and purchase a larger packet of sweets and you had to share them or divide them between a less amount of people, that would give you more sweets than you would have originally had, therefore being an overestimate. So we can finish this by saying we would have more, or it would be an overestimate, and we can say, since the numerator 100 was rounded up and the denominator 5 squared was rounded down, a larger number divided by a smaller number will give you a larger answer. Here's a question that I've completed. It appears as though I've made some mistakes. See if you can pause the video and tell me what they are, or write some corrections in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you found that video useful, don't forget to hit the like button and leave a comment. If you're struggling with topics or finding maths difficult, subscribe and turn on notifications to receive regular updates about new video tutorials and other useful content. You can visit and follow all of my socials by clicking the links in the description below.